everybody. Welcome to Kevin Reviews. I know I put um, the other two reviews out earlier. I don't think I've said this, but this I'm hoping to get gets up on New Year's Eve. That's my main hope. If not, then Happy New Year in general, whether it comes out on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. Um, but the so sorry. Here's the thing. I did rewatch Frozen. Um, This is so this is something I've owned. Again, this is by Walt Disney Pictures, and it's directed by Chris Buck and Jennifer Lee, as well as written by them. And this is based on a Hans Christian Andersen story. And no, I don't know a ton about the story, but from what I understand, the film is very different from the original story. I think the Queen, Ice Queen, was kind of more evil. I'm not 100% certain. The cast includes Idina Menzel, Kristen Bell, Jonathan Groff, Josh Gad, and Santino Fontana. Um, so here's the thing. I had originally um, planned to do a different movie, which was Game Night, that had Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams. I did try watching it, I think, several weeks ago, and I never got around to finishing it. And there were more films that were lined up, and I thought I was okay. I thought maybe I'd save it for like the end. But when I went back to find it, and this was on streaming, I don't own it. I don't own a per physical copy, but when I tried looking for it on streaming, it wasn't available on any of the streaming platforms I had. So I didn't necessarily want to go out and buy it so I can just watch it. So Frozen was last minute. And why Frozen? Well, it's been a while since I've done anything animated. I mean, the last thing I did was Zootopia 2. So feel like I need to add something animated. And then I know I did my review of Ghost Rider, and if you haven't seen that review of Ghost Rider, it's like a lot of flames, and I thought, okay, maybe I can do something a bit opposite. Heat and cold, hot and cold, Katy Perry joke, you can name it. Um, so that's where I went with is Frozen. Figure to kind of as a sign off to, as Elsa would say, let it go, let 2025 go. Um, I know it's a bit cheesy, but that was my original thought. But here's another thing regarding Frozen the film. I did not see this at original release. This was in 2013. I think I saw this a year, maybe two, um, after its release, and I the it was something I wanted to see then, but I didn't have time because I was busy with college, and I had a family issue that I needed to take care of, and that kind of held me back for a couple. That not held me back, but I couldn't really go to like the movies so much between the years of 2013 to 2013 and like 2015 because of some family related issues. I don't want to go into it, but I think I will eventually later in the next year because it is important. I think for one particular film that I wanted a review about. So yeah, I will get to that. So in any case, I didn't see Frozen, and by the time I saw it, this was still well into the backlash that the film has received, despite it getting glowing reviews from critics and audiences at the start with the songs, "Let It Go," "Want to Build a Snowman." It was just as shoved in your face everywhere. Um, as A Christmas Story was. So yeah, so I grew up. So basically, through that time period, I was understanding the backlash and that it was just everywhere: toys, merchandise, the song. Like even the original song has like over 1 billion views, and it's been there's been different covers and people singing it. So Yeah, I even realized that even though I did not see the movie, and even I was sick to death of Frozen because it was just everywhere. It was like, really, is this a great movie? I mean, yeah, I wish I saw it. I wish I saw it in the theater so I could maybe feel that. But I think by then, by the time I saw it, I was in the backlash of just as a person who's not seen the film. So I guess you could say I went with the crowd or the backlash because it was just everywhere, and people started pointing more flaws in the film than what it was originally. So, but yeah, I think I don't. I know I saw this. I think um in a class I was studying to be a teacher at the time in college, and they were going to show Frozen. So it was like, it was just like a sit in. It was like a time I couldn't see the whole film, but I saw parts of it. And even when I saw it then, I was like, really? This is the film that basically made Disney a lot of money. I mean, Disney's going to get a lot of money regardless, but really this one that's like everywhere. So I don't know. And then I eventually got the movie because I don't know, it was that popular, and this was I got it from a store that was reasonably cheap, so I thought maybe I'll buy it and watch it and really see what I thought about it. And I thought it was okay, good. It was good at the time. I haven't seen in a while. I don't really watch it that much, but yeah, that was my like first impressions that I remember well for reasons. So, but yeah, anyway, why don't we get on? So I rewatched it this week. I will say, as I said, I was originally going to do not game plan, game night, but because it was gone, I had to throw something in last minute, and I thought this would be at least kind of a good one to end off. Need something animated, something that kind of goes opposite of what Ghost Rider is a bit, because you know hot heat flames versus snow ice and stuff like that. And granted, there's the other review, Antoine Fisher, which kind of was throwing, like I said, last minute. You know, it happens. So in any case, let me get on to my review of 2013 Walt Disney Pictures Frozen from 2013. So the story in Frozen is, I think many people already know, is two sisters named Anna and Elsa live in the castle together after their parents have sadly passed away, and um and for that time, Elsa when she was born, she has ice powers, is able to control and mimic ice. You know, create ice structures and stuff when she's being told, but unfortunately she's not able to control it. She has a coronation where she's going to be queen, but unfortunately she loses control, and from what Anna does later in the film, involving a prince that she meets, and so Elsa loses control and runs away, and unfortunately Arendelle, their kingdom is covered in deep snow. That so now it's Anna's job to go get Elsa back and hopefully try to fix Arendelle before um, people starve or get freeze to death, basically. Um, and there's a little bit more. Eventually, Anna meets Kristoff, and to help who basically delivers ice or something like that. So yeah, they go find Elsa, and they also come across Olaf. That's something that Elsa build that comes to life. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. There is a little bit more, I think, involving. There is a villain in this, but I can't say exactly who, because a surprise. It's a surprise villain in a way. Um, I might have given that away then, but I don't know. Um, but after watching it, objectively speaking, I think it is a good movie. It is a good movie. I th- I think because I don't know, watch it, it it didn't really resonate with me. And like I said, I saw this way like a year or two after the backlash. So I was in that mindset when I saw even videos, everything on the internet about Frozen, just kind of everywhere, to the point I was even sick of it. So, and yeah, I didn't really know what to think about it. I mean, it is your kind of typical fairy tale kind of similar to Snow White, or some even make a comparison to, well, not a fairy tale, is Lion King is one that they often compare it. I can kind of see that, I think. Um, but yeah, it's kind of the normal fairy tale. But this is also a film that I don't know if this is the first technically to do this, but it's so blatantly obvious that Disney is poking fun at their own Disney princess tropes about, you can't fall in love like when you first meet the guy, and they kind of bring that up. And I mean, that's obvious, but I don't know. I feel like that's pushing it way too much in a way, but I can understand why, because they want to try to distance themselves from the tropes of the past. And while not totally bad tropes, they're still, it's yeah, it doesn't exactly hold up nowadays to what our standards are nowadays, or we often like to put logic in things. So there's that. I thought it was like too blatantly obvious, but that they did it, like they could have just let the whole scene kind of carry out and not bring it up so much. But in a way, it makes sense because, um, especially for Anna and Elsa, because of how they're raised. Anna's more outgoing and trustworthy of everyone versus Elsa, who's more reserved, has to conceal everything, is closed off, but has more logic. So we have heart versus logic in a way, and it makes sense. I will admit it does make sense when you think about how these two sisters react to the world around them, ever since their parents passed away. And I will say the parents are pretty bad. Well, not bad. They love their daughters very much, but how they approach involving trying to keep Elsa's powers, try to control her powers by basically saying, "Don't conceal, don't feel." To Yeah, and unfortunately, that goes out of control. And almost, I wish, I personally wish, Charles Xavier shows up and just says, I have a group of mutants I have a school of mutants that we can help you control your powers. And it's like, I don't know. I just think that I think that would be funny if that was the case. But I mean, granted, we don't know exactly the explanation of her powers, and yes, there is magic. So um, I think it does try to do a bit more emotional storytelling than actual like logic storytelling. There isn't an explanation; it just happens. Um, Well, how about the characters? I like Anna and Elsa. They're both great characters. They work well off each other. Um, they're acted well by their voice actors, Kristen Bell and Idina Menzel. They're great. And some of the songs, I don't know who this if they sing it. I know Idina Menzel sings. I don't know if Kristen Bell sings or she has another voice actor. I think she does a singing actor. So, but they do very well, and their personalities do are very polar opposite. Pardon the pun, but yeah, there's a lot to like about them. But I don't know. So at times I kind of, for especially from Anna's case, she kind of get on my nerves just a tiny bit, not a ton, but a tiny bit. Of course, not as much as Olaf. Olaf the Snowman, played by Josh Gad. I don't get this character. I granted, I'm an adult. it's basically for kids. I don't understand why he's so funny, and the whole running joke. He's not exactly that bright at times, and he wants summer to happen, even though he's never experienced it. I guess in a way that could be funny, and but it's that's kind of sort of the running joke, which isn't that funny. Um, when they keep going with it, um, and he even has a song number, and even I didn't like the song. That's another thing is I'm probably jumping ahead here. What about maybe I'll get into the songs later, but what about Kristoff? I think Kristoff is a good enough character. I think he could have been developed a little bit more in terms of history and how he was treated because he was like he's supposed to be delivering ice and something, but he has friends, the trolls. There's trolls in this movie that help help Anna specifically, and him. Um, and I don't know. I think he does fine. He does have a personality which he finds he doesn't like being around with many people or humans. Instead, he likes to talk to his his reindeer Sven, often giving him a voice like ventriloquist voice, and as well as the trolls. So I can understand. I don't exactly know where the hatred for people, not hatred, but dislike for people comes from. But whatever, it's part of the shtick, really. So, um, then I think we got Hans and isn't this who the person the prince that Anna falls in love with on the first day. And he's a good character enough, I guess. And honestly, I kind of thinking of Hans because I recently reviewed. I was like thinking, ooh, it could be Hans Gruber or something. That would be funny to be honest. Like you got Alan Rickman as Hans, and all of a sudden, I don't know. I just think it'd be funny. In any case, I gotta pause. I'll get into the songs next. Okay, so the songs. I will say this. I think this is the first film. I might be wrong, where it is more of a musical. And I enjoyed the musicals from Disney. Actually, no, I'm sorry, Nightmare Before Christmas was. But um, when it comes to musicals, I like them okay. I like them fine. I like the older ones especially. But nowadays musicals, I don't know. I it's tough for me to sometimes get into because I often feel like I want more interaction and story. I don't know they're doing that through song, but I don't know. It just feels like I don't know. It feels like force. It takes away from anything dramatic or comedic related at times, but that's just nitpicky for me. I don't hate musicals entirely, but it's just hard for me to kind of get into any or all of them. But there are some I do enjoy. Um, there are well, and aside from Disney ones, but there are some I do like live action films I do enjoy that involve songs. And this is not Disney. This is anything other than Disney. So, but obviously, Let It Go has been played to death, and it's objectively it is a really good song. It's but yeah, it is an earworm that I do try to avoid, but I had to watch the film again to listen to it. Um, Want to Build a Snowman's kind of catchy a little bit. Not exactly my favorite. Of course, I mentioned the summer song. It's not my favorite. The song with the trolls involving love is painful. It's one that you could cut and not miss a thing. It's not funny. Trolls don't really serve a ton of purpose other than, in the beginning and, how they're trying to handle Elsa and Anna. So it it just it doesn't really work. And even how they approach to help, how they recommend to help Anna with her powers is nonsense. I think that's where people really had problems with is how how the trolls and the parents try to help Anna, not Anna and Elsa, Elsa especially to help with their powers, and it's not done well. It's just not. But it's fairy tale. It's a bit of emotional storytelling, so you got to kind of give it some leeway. Um, but still, some of the songs are really good to just average. That in my opinion. The animation is still gorgeous. I will say that, especially it when the never ending winter happens. It's still very cool to see. Cool to see. No pun intended. Um, I wish there was a little bit more going on with it, or a bit more creative ways how they do it. You know, the snow and using the snow or something like that. I don't know. I I don't know. It feels maybe too safe, like compared to certain other Disney films that go a little bit above and beyond with certain action scenes. So I don't know. It's um let's see. What else? I don't know. You know what, to be perfectly honest, I don't think I can add a ton of what has already been said before, because you either like it or you don't, and either way is fine. It is overplayed to death. It's there. We still have sequels with Frozen 2. I haven't seen Frozen 2, and I think there's plans to do Frozen 3. So I don't know. I didn't exactly. Oh, probably should mention I don't think I quite. I kind of sort of understood Anna and Kristoff's relationship, even though they don't really start as like lovers, but you can kind of see it. But I don't know. It's still kind of iffy for me. I don't know exactly how to explain it, but they kind of feel like more like brother and sister, I guess. You know that I don't know if that makes any sense, but I don't know. I'm sorry. It's late. I'm trying to think, and to be perfectly honest, when it gets to the near the end, I was just kind of on my phone a little bit because I did kind of tune out. And yes, I because I've seen it. A, I have seen it before, and B, I kind of lost interest. And it does have the message about the whole true love thing, though they try kind of twist it a little a bit. That is important regardless. But you can kind of see it a mile away, even um, even if you know because mentioned Anna is in love with Hans, and even though she met him only once, and you know, figured that wasn't gonna exactly happen. So and so that I it could have been Kristoff, sure, but I think they were also trying to Disney's trying to distance themselves from just always the prince saving the princess, overall. So I understand the change. Um, but it just feels too blatantly obvious, I guess. I don't know. I don't hate this movie, but it's not one I would personally see as often, compared to other Disney films, the older ones, even in some of the newer ones. Um, so, and I'm not talking about the live action films. I'm talking about the animated ones, by the way. But yeah, I th- I'm trying to think because I do think it is good. It just doesn't work for me, and granted, because I happen to have seen this during the backlash, so I feel like if I really have to be generous, I give it 4 stars. But I think personally for me, I would give it 3.5. It's good enough, but it's not one I would go out, watch constantly, um, on a daily basis. I rather watch some of the older Disney films, fairy tale ones, than Frozen. To be perfectly honest, but again, that might be just because I just happen to be part of the backlash, even though I haven't seen it. So yeah, I think I'll just leave it at 4 as just to be generous because I know many people really like this movie. I think there are a lot of flaws and moments don't that kind of really hold it back. Um, the trolls are not interesting and they're annoying. Um, how the parents treat how the parents and the trolls handle Elsa and her powers. Um, but at least Elsa and Anna are great characters. They work off. They have great personalities that you can understand fully about letting knowing where to draw the line between how much you let people in versus how much you should keep people out. um, and that's a good thing and good lesson for kids to really know their limits and where to you know where's that fine line to basically say, okay, that's enough. I need to stop there and say, because obviously being too trusting can hurt, and being too closed off and can also hurt as well. So either way, that's at least a good message for kids. So, but yeah, I'm sorry. I'm probably all over the place. I'm tired, and this is last minute. So, um, but yeah, 4 stars. I think just to be generous here. But I think personally for me, I give it 3.5. So, what are your thoughts on Frozen? Are you sick of it? Leave in the comments below. Give a like or dislike the review if you want. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. Also, yes, I forgot to mention it. Yeah, I have the snowman. I took the stuff down before, so yeah, I didn't want to put it back up in last minute. But yeah, feel free to subscribe to my channel if you like what you're seeing, and click the notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next review for the next year. Bye.